And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense begins right now. It's your Garbage Day edition. I think today is Wednesday. I've lost track of time over the Memorial Holiday weekend. They just run right into it. I am Mark Walters, filling your prescription for freedom today and every day. Guys, you can watch us live on YouTube, youtube.com. at Armed American Radio and over at X. We would hope you would jump over on YouTube. We need those numbers over there. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We would appreciate it. We're growing by leaps and bounds, and we need your help to continue to do so. And that like and that subscribe button and comments all feeds the algorithm. So hook a brother up. Appreciate you doing that. You can also visit us on the Telegram messaging app. Download the app if you don't have it and search for Armed American Radio Conversations. Or you can just jump in the conversations right there on YouTube or the streaming service. It's all right there available for you. Let's go right to the phones. Lee The Gunwriter Williams, let's bring you up on camera too, buddy. How you doing, my man? It's good to have you here.
Good, brother. Good to be here.
Always a pleasure to have you here. I'm going to read something that you have put up in over on Armed American News, and I know this is out at SAF as well. Guys, you can find everything that Lee The Gunwriter Williams writes at Armed American News, our site that we run together over there, or you can also visit him at SAF, as he is the head investigative journalist at the Second Amendment Foundation. You can catch him there as well. We're following up on the Tate Adamiak story. There is now more news. And Lee, I got to hand it to you, brother, before we go any farther. Hats off, man. You are really getting some legs on this thing. Is picking up an awful lot of steam. Now we have Cicada, Robert Cicada, the new ATF director, recently confirmed, commenting on Tate's case. Ladies and gentlemen, the article is, even ATF now admits Adamiak's 20-year prison sentence was far too long. Here's a quote from Robert Cicada. I think that the biggest challenge is the sentence Tate received. It's a sentence I've not seen for a case like that. I've seen cases where folks with no criminal history are involved, and I'm not saying Tate. I'm not using any of my statements toward Tate negatively, for example. I've personally charged people for trafficking or dealing in firearms without a license. They were dealing firearms to gang members. They had no criminal history. We charged them. They went to trial. They got 3 years in jail. Remind you, Tate is 4 years in to a 20-year sentence. He recently said that during an interview with Cam Edwards over at bearingarms.com. Cicada, according to Lee's article here, did take issue with some of the technical aspects of the gun parts ATF agents recovered during a search warrant of Tate Adamiak's home. ATF folks had told me they were not properly demilled and ultimately very easily were assembled to fall into what the law would call a machine gun. He understands there's a difference of opinion between Tate's perspective and that of the ATF. He promised neither he nor the ATF will be offended by the outcome of the courts because he wants to make sure that Adamiak was appropriately sentenced. As far as I'm concerned, that means get him out because he wasn't appropriately sentenced. He should have never been sentenced to begin with, Lee. And he blamed the sentencing guidelines for Adamiak's 20-year prison sentence, not the actual firearms. However, Lee points out, he pointed out one of the biggest issues in the case. When Tate's getting 20 years, and we have had people who are committing violent crime, and they're not even getting a fraction of prison like that, that's a big problem. So, Lee, jump in here. Am I reading into this, because I kind of am, I reading into this that at his hearing upcoming on June 25th, that this could lead to a, you've served enough time, go home?
Well, hopefully it won't even get to that hearing. There's some things that are going on. I mean, there's 800 things going on with Tate right now, which is better than last year,
right? When
I was about a year and a half into this. I started about a year and a half ago when nobody would mention his name. Now there are separate things that are moving forward. Some of them I can't talk about, some of them I can. But on this story, brother, I just wanted to show how really bad people are not getting the 20-year sentence that he's getting. I mean, I went through, and, ATF is very good about it. They put out on every Friday a list of their charges, a list of people that have been indicted, and a list of people that have been sentenced to federal crimes. And there's only one who got another 20-year sentence. And some of the stuff that guy did were simply crazy. I mean, we're looking at Benny Bryant Jr., 36 of Evansville, was sentenced to 240 months in federal prison, same sentence that Tate got after pleading guilty to possessing a firearm by a convicted felon, possessing it with intent to distribute heroin, possessing a firearm in furtherance of drug trafficking crime, because on January 23 of 2024, uniformed cops approached him as he walked near an intersection and attempted to stop him. He fled, he ran, they got him. During the struggle, he attempted to pull his Glock out of his waistband. He was going to shoot a cop, but the detectives, thank God, were able to disarm him. They found heroin and THC and 2 digital scales in his pocket. That's the type of crime you need to do to get to 240 months or 20 years that Tate got. And there's 11 examples in this story about people doing really bad things, man, that don't come close to Tate. And most of them are getting, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. It's absolutely crazy. It's the craziest crap I have ever seen. I think
it gets
this
crazier
kind
by
of
the
stuff
day.
Gets to Cicada, and he wants to end it. I mean, Otha Gatlin, 48-year-old sentenced to 180 months in federal prison. 180 months as opposed to Tate's 240 for selling crack, possession with intent to sell crack, possession of cocaine, possession of ammunition by a felon. I mean, none of this stuff.
All right, let me stop you for a second.
Close to being what Tate did.
Let me stop you for just a second. Remind listeners what kind of drugs Tate Adamiak had on his person when he was originally arrested.
Oh, that'd be none.
Remind listeners if Tate had a criminal history at the time of his arrest.
None. He was a clean one owner who was going to become an officer in the Navy and probably a Navy SEAL.
Did, during the arrest, I'm certain, based on the sentence, that Tate resisted, fought, and tried to grab 1, 2, or 3 officers' guns during the struggle when he realized he was being arrested?
Nope.
None of that happened?
Nope.
Okay.
Turned around, put his hands behind his back, and was cuffed and then hauled out of his home.
All right. Oscar Solano Salinas, ladies and gentlemen, 44 years old, a citizen of Mexico with 2 convictions for sexual battery, was sentenced to 41 months in prison for possessing a rifle and ammo and re-entering the country for a 3rd time after having been removed on 2 separate occasions. Donovan James Cartwright Nye, 25, folks, was sentenced on May 20th, 2026 to 96 months of imprisonment to be followed by 3 years of supervised release for possessing a firearm as a felon. Cartwright Nye, it's easy to say. Boy, that's fun to say. Cartwright Nye traded drugs for a firearm with an obliterated serial number, and the following day fired several shots at another person in Rock Island, Illinois. Cartwright Nye then fled the scene in his vehicle that he proceeded to crash several blocks away. Cartwright Nye was apprehended on foot a short time later. Chance Trayvon Burge, 32 of Oklahoma City, ladies and gentlemen, was sentenced to serve 137 months in federal prison for illegal possession of a firearm after a previous felony conviction. He responded to an armed robbery at a Metro apartment. The victim reported that after a knock at the door, 3 individuals forced their way into the apartment. Burge held a firearm to the victim's head while the other 2 searched the apartment. Burge also threatened to shoot the victim and struck her in the head multiple times with a firearm before the intruders fled. There's Gabriel Lebron Mahia. I don't care if I mispronounce this criminal scumbag's name. 27 of Beloit, Wisconsin, was sentenced to 120 months. That's half the time Tate got in federal prison for possessing 100 grams 100 grams or more of heroin intended for distribution and maintaining a drug trafficking premises. He pled guilty to these charges on March 13th of this year. Between January and August 2025, law enforcement conducted controlled purchases of heroin and fentanyl from LeBron Maya. During his subsequent arrest in August of 2025, they searched his vehicle and found a hidden compartment behind the vehicle's glove box. They found 115 grams of a mixture containing heroin and fentanyl and 60 grams of blow. Officers also searched LeBron Maya's apartment, recovered 100 grams of fentanyl pills, hydraulic pill press, gas mask, cutting agents, and other tools and drug packaging material, a 9mm handgun, ammunition, and over $21,000 in cash. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Tate was found with at least 100 pounds of heroin.
Yeah,
right?
No.
Oh, that's right. He wasn't. None of this occurred. None of this happened because Tate Adamiak had only in his possession items he had purchased lawfully on gunbroker.com. Now, Lee, we're getting ready to take a break. When we come back, I do want to follow up on this, and I'm going to try to pull out of you what maybe you can't tell us. Maybe you could just give us a little hint. Think of an artistic way to hit us with that during the break, maybe. See if we can get some information from Lee. I don't want him to divulge anything that's going to get, that will hinder the case by any stretch, so I'm kidding there. But maybe a little bit more detail, because this is Lee, this is your deal. We're really proud of you. Greg and I were talking about that just yesterday. not in your presence. We're really thrilled with what you've been able to do here because positive things are coming to tape. I can feel it, and I can sense it, and I know Lee can too. When we come back, Armed American Radio's Daily Defense continues right after the break. Don't go away. Guys, during the break, I want to pop in here and let you know that Angry Mark could come out of the box. Not for the reasons you might think about any of the topics that we're talking about today, which Angry Mark could come out easily. But I've got a tree cutting, trimming company out here that has been outside this studio since 8:30 this morning. And let me tell you, this ain't the California redwood forest, folks, okay? There's a couple neighbors' trees that they've been, and the noise is driving me absolutely batshit crazy. So it is possible that I might snap at some point during the show. If I do, I will keep it FCC friendly, I promise you, because I have to. But good heavens, the racket is about to drive me batty. So there's that. Be back right after this with Lee. Hey, this is a response to Rocky that you were able to hear me about the tree people. Be advised, that was intentional. I don't have FCC constraints on the internet during the breaks. That's only during the live show. So I can snap at will over here, Rocky, on camera during the breaks. You never know what's going to happen today. I mean, good Lord. I don't know what these people are doing, but they've been doing it since 8:30, and there ain't a tree around me, except in the woods here at my ranch, that would cause all of that racket all day long. It's been mind-boggling.
All right, come back here in 25?
25 seconds. We'll be right back, guys. Yes, welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Walters filling your prescriptions in front of this Patriot Mobile. Got the hat on today because I was able to get it before my wife and my son could scarf it. the Patriot Mobile microphone. And guys, patriotmobile.com. Make sure to visit them at patriotmobile.com/AAR. Patriot Mobile will be on the program with us tomorrow. And we ask that question, where in the world are you today? Whoever the guest is, because they are always traveling the country fighting for your gun rights. And it's interesting because I have met them at multiple locations around this beautiful country, ladies and gentlemen, and I have yet to see AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile have a booth at any of those locations because they don't. They are not fighting for your gun rights. Patriot Mobile does. Support them. It is patriotmobile.com/AAR. They wear their Second Amendment on their sleeve just like I do, folks. So visit them. Use that promo code. Get a month of free activation. Save some bucks. And if you don't owe, if you owe money on your phone, they will credit you up to $500. Or you can pay it off, slide it over. It takes 20 minutes, all U.S.-based customer service. Support the businesses that support your gun rights. Again, it is patriotmobile.com/AAR. Let's go over to Lee the Gunwriter Williams. Lee, welcome back in, my brother. Always a pleasure, always a pleasure. So I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I've known you a long, long time.
No, I get that.
I would have never do that to you, nor would I want anything to be exposed that might harm the work that you're doing on behalf of Tate Adamiak. But can you give us some hints, maybe, about what might be coming up without disclosing anything behind the scenes?
There are a lot of things going on. Eli Crane, the congressman, he's the one that had Cicada appear before his hearing. He's the one that mentioned Tate, said, hey, you got to help out Tate Adamiak. He's got a letter that they're working on getting signed by a few more lawmakers that will then be presented to President Trump. Tate's attorneys are prepping for his hearing. He's really got a good attorney now. An incredible legal team. They're getting ready. There are several other things, but I think the biggest thing is that you're seeing Cicada coming out publicly. The head of the ATF, man, saying, hey, he was sentenced for too long. I think that right there is going to lead to goodness and happiness for Tate. You've got the head of the agency that brought him to the DOJ and said, hey, this guy needs to go away. Remember the ATF director under Joe Biden wanted a 30-year sentence. They wanted him to go to 30 years. So there are a lot of things that are at play right now. That's just a couple of them.
Yeah, I get the same sense. I kind of figured that's how you would answer, because I'm getting the sense that some good things are about ready to unfold here. When you've got Cicada, the head of the ATF. Now, let's be fair to Robert Cicada. Robert Cicada has been with the ATF for a long time. He was not the head of the ATF when all of this went down. Nowhere near it.
No.
And he had nothing to do with it. And the fact that he is heading up the ATF right now, and I've spoken to Todd Blanche on this program, the acting attorney general, who was also very well aware of this case. We spoke about it off mic and off camera. But I sense that some very positive news is coming Tate's way. And as I've often said, and I'll repeat it here now, I just want to see this young man get out. We'll worry about the crime and expunging the felony record and all that nonsense after the fact. Let's just get this man out and back to his family where he belongs. And I believe I'm feeling real good about the 25th of June for that hearing. I don't know, like you said, might not even get that far now that you have the director of the ATF in here, but they're going to have to go to court. They're going to have to they're going to have to go through the motions, no question about that. But having said that, I think good things are coming down the pike for Tate Adamiak. What can we do in this final stretch as viewers, listeners, supporters, freedom lovers? What can we do? Is there anything that all of us listening or watching can do right now to help this man and speed this process up?
Absolutely. Write letters. Write letters. Put them on paper. Write to your congressman. Write to the president of the United States. Say, hey, Tate Adamiak needs to be freed. He's an innocent man who was sentenced to 20 years. The government at the time wanted to give him 30. Write to your congressman and write to the president of the United States. If you put it on paper as opposed to putting it in an email, it has much, much more effect.
Yeah, it actually lands.
Put it on paper.
Put it on paper. Lee, you're correct. Ladies and gentlemen, Lee is correct. I learned this trick a long time ago from people who sit in positions of power, that snail mail, good old handwritten snail mail, actually makes it to the congressman's desk. Unlike an email, which gets read by staffers, and then they count how many came in and who's for and against.
Exactly.
Snail mail gets opened, it gets read. by the people, okay? So if you can find the time to do that in today's day and age, that would be huge. If you can do that, that would be significant for Tate and his family. And it's high time that this young man get out and get back to his home.
Plus, there are multiple pro-gun groups that have sample letters out there.
Yeah.
Google Tate Adamiak letter, or release letter, or pardon letter.
Yeah, something else to point
And
out.
it'll happen.
Your local congressman or woman is likely not going to be aware of this case like the heads of these departments are. And that's very important that you enlighten them to that, particularly with that snail mail, because that bell goes off. Okay, who is Tate Adamiak? Why am I getting letters? They look into it. I don't care if it's a Democrat. I don't care if it's a Republican. If it's a Democrat, load their desk up. Send as many as you can afford to buy stamps for, okay? Cost of everything's going up.
Exactly.
I mean, pile this stuff up on their desks if you can do it. We've done it here, and I would hope that you guys would do it too. If you have a working relationship with your congressperson, your congressman, by all means, pick the phone up and call them, see if you can't get together with them and meet with them to specifically talk about this, because additional pressure coming from not just Eli Crane, our friend out in Arizona, but your congressperson as well, makes all the difference in the world. Because they'll check with him. They know what Eli's up to. We need to get them on the ball. I don't expect any help from any Democrat politicians, because the Democrats are behind all of this. This was all done by Joe Biden's DOJ. It was all done by Joe Biden's weaponized ATF. It was all done by that corrupt scumbag, Dettelbach, and the rest of them. Let's not forget that before Dettelbach, they tried to put Chipman in there to run the ATF, who, while at the time he was going through his hearing, was on the payroll of the Brady anti-gun campaign. That's who we're talking about here. So we've got friends in that office right now, and we need to put them to work, Lee. We'll close out the segment with this. Go ahead and wrap up whatever you want on that. Go ahead. We'll take us to the break.
Keep in mind, Tate is serving a 20-year sentence. He did nothing wrong. Nothing he possessed was illegal. Yet the ATF under Joe Biden screwed up. They hit the wrong guy because they had a terrible confidential informant who said he's going in there to buy machine guns. He didn't get any machine guns. He got some barrel shrouds. And ATF called those machine guns, and a search warrant affidavit went to a judge who didn't know the difference between a shroud and his butt, and got a search warrant signed, went in, didn't find anything, so then they start making stuff up.
Well, I'm a little dismayed at Cicada's statement here. Let me go back to this, revisit this.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Well, ATF folks have told me they were not properly demilled and ultimately very easily were assembled to fall into what the law would call a machine gun. We'll cover that when we come back. Then we've got two more stories we want to talk with you about, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a weird world out there, and we're here to cover it for you. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back to the show, folks. If you're watching the streams, we cut those rejoins out. We do that for copyright reasons. Because we are broadcasting and streaming live, we don't want to get any strikes over there. Guys, if you can find it in your hearts, we would appreciate it. If you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. Many of you have. We are growing at about 400. I think the last analytic was about 486% just over the last 28 days. And reaching tens and tens of thousands of people, and we do appreciate that. But we need you to subscribe, like, comment, and share. It's really easy to do. We'll try to keep the shorts short for you, and we've got some more longer form videos that we're working on for you, but you're getting at least 2 to 3 videos every single day, and you will from here on out with some great information. We cut the shows up. You can watch the shows, of course, live on YouTube and live on X. Eventually, that will shift directly over to YouTube because YouTube also feeds if you watch on the Armed American Radio website, and many of you do that as well. So we would appreciate it if you would do that. That was a Patriot Mobile rejoin. That's why I pointed to my hat, patriotmobile.com/AAR. We were already talking about that. And guys, I want to, Lee, you'll get a kick out of this. Lee knows me very well. He knows sometimes I have a short fuse. I hate when inanimate objects fight me back. I hate when that happens, okay? In my line of work, you're always dealing with cables and things like that, and sometimes they get all messed up. You wonder how they got all messed up. They seem to be fighting you back. They don't have any brains, or at least they don't even have any opposable thumbs. But I have got a tree trimming crew out here that has been driving me absolutely bonkers all day long since 8 o'clock. And it ain't the redwood forest here, Lee. I don't know what they're cutting. None of my neighbors near this studio have trees big enough to cause all of that racket all day long. So it has been driving me nuts. Watch out for Angry Mark. I could pop at any moment in time. And I shout out to those in the chat who commented. We could hear you during the break. That was intentional because I made my camera live because I needed to vent that out. So guys, make sure you I'll try to I'll keep in check the best I can, Lee. And we'll stay FCC friendly as best I can. But guys, all of our Patriots Relief, and we'll talk about attorneys on retainer in just a few moments. And I need you to join the local states organizations, and that is AZCDL, azcdl.org in Arizona. We desperately need help out there. They are 1 Senate seat and 2 House seats away from flipping and handing total Democrat control to a Democrat governor and AG in the state of Arizona, folks. We cannot let the Californication of Virginia-cate Arizona. We cannot let that happen. We need you on those rolls. VCDL, critically important as the anti-gun left has shifted this fight to the states, ladies and gentlemen. It is critical that you get involved in these states, whether you live there or not. It doesn't matter. Beginning next month, it's going to be Quang Nguyen month. The shredder is being primaried in Arizona. Bad things happening out there. We've got to put a stop to it. We need your help to do that. And you're also going to start hearing for the next 90 days at least me talking about asking you to join Florida Carry. Whoa, what's going on in Florida? Conservative state, DeSantis. Guys, HOAs in Florida are trying to ban guns. And it's Florida Carry and Eric Friday, the attorneys, that are stepping up and stopping the nonsense in these goofy Democrat-run little districts throughout the state. It happens not just behind the blue wall, but also in front of the blue wall in red states, and we need you to help stop it. And don't forget about joining the NRA. Lee, all of that's very important. There's no question about it. I'll let you put your final word on Tate, and then I want to move to Glock bans, which are now picking up steam across this country. Go ahead.
Well, I just hope everybody takes a second to send something, because I'm at a point right now where I feel that every letter is going to do something. Not like a year ago when nobody knew who he was. Right now he's become the cause celeb in D.C., and the right people know about him. They need to be reminded of him every 15 minutes, every time they open up an email or open up an actual letter. So please help Tate. He'll thank every one of us once he's out.
Oh, I guarantee you will, and he's going to do it on this microphone. I can promise you that. I'm really looking forward to having him and his father and you on the Monster Cast. And I know that day is coming very, very soon. All right. Real quick, now I'll cover that in the fourth segment. I'll go to Virginia in the fourth segment because a growing number of prosecutors in the state of Virginia are refusing to enforce the unconstitutional bans that the Democrats have put in place, and that's a great story.
6.
Yeah, 6. We're up to 6 now. That's right. I was right the other day when I guessed it was 5. I just didn't have the proof at that time, but I had seen an email, and it was, in fact, 5, and now we're up to 6. And that number is going to grow, folks, as more prosecutors grow a pair, because others have. That snowball is now rolling downhill and gaining some size. Let's talk now because FPC, NRA, and SAF have just recently filed suit against Maryland's Glock ban. Connecticut just did the same thing. California just did the same thing. And guys, when we talk about the Californication of these states, when it comes out of California, it spreads to every other Democrat-run enclave. When they all get an idea, they all pick it up and run with it. Now, Lee, this is never going to stand, and here's why. Once the Supreme Court takes a quote-unquote assault weapons ban case, and they will, and we win it, which we will, it is not just going to cover AR-15s. It is going to cover all guns in common use in America, which is going to strike down all of this nonsense. You just gave a little hand praise signal. Do you think I'm right on that, or will the Supreme Court stay narrowly focused on an assault weapon? I don't see that happening because they're trying to classify everything as an assault weapon.
No, and the Glock case really shows that, too. They're calling Glocks machine gun convertible pistols. Okay. They have no idea how widely sold, widely purchased they are. I mean, the bill, the law in Maryland, unfortunately, says you can't manufacture, sell, offer for sale, purchase, receive, or transfer a machine gun convertible pistol. I've never heard such foolishness in my life.
Where do they get? Where do they come up with this language? Who concocts this? A bunch of goofball liberal millennials.
They got to have. Yeah, they got to have a room full of them, and they just run these ideas by, and they all must have just raised their hands when they heard machine gun convertible pistol. I mean, Maryland should know better. I know the left is always talking about Governor Westmore. Oh boy, wouldn't he be a great presidential candidate for the left? Sure, sure he would. Signing an anti-gun bill that bans one of the most popular pistols in the world.
Ever.
That would make him really good.
Let's make this statement. This is a fair statement. Glocks are the single most popular handguns ever manufactured and sold anywhere in the world. I'll go on record with that. I'm going to guarantee you that that would be backed up. They ride.
I would argue that now. I'd say that 1911 has the history and the use, and there's probably a few more of them made. You look at across the pond, maybe the Makarov. I know there's billions of those that have been made, but yeah, for now, Glock is probably the most popular pistol out there.
Yeah, with all the great handguns out there, the Glock 19 has been the #1 concealed carry gun for, decades. If you go back to the 80s, the advent of the Glock 17, the left went haywire then. It's the plastic pistol that can get through, airport security, which is all BS. Every bit of it was BS.
Yeah.
But, they get that media push behind them, and it's just a big, giant sail in the shape of a Glock, and the media is just, back behind, blowharding it all the way down the river, and that's just what they get. But, guys, we are going to win these cases. There's no question about it. It's just a sad fact that the left will continue to force us in court, and that will happen. Now, I've asked the question before, Lee, when we do win that case, do you think the Democrats are going to take that lying down? No, they're going to try to find another way around it somehow, and they will. They're creative. I'll let you take us to the break with a response.
Well, absolutely they will. The weird thing about this, and our executive Vice President Adam Kraut pointed this out, this Maryland law bans nearly every Glock and Glock style handgun on the market right now. Buddy, I've got 5 Glock-style handguns.
Oh, I've got more than that. When we come back, Lee Williams, one more segment. We're going to take you to Virginia and the DOJ. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back inside the studios with me, guys. I had a quick graphic put up there about me leaning out the window, losing it over the chippers and tree trimmers and driving me nuts. So enjoy that if you're watching. If you don't yet have an attorney in your back pocket, quite frankly, what in the hell are you waiting for? If you carry a gun for self-defense, why would you not have a lawyer for $37 a month in your pocket? That's what this card is, and everything you need to know right here, should that day come, is printed right on this card. This is not insurance that can decline you and all the stuff that insurance does and doesn't do. This is a law firm. They are your lawyers. You have them on retainer for $37 a month. Just get it done. You've been thinking about it. I know you have. It's real simple. attorneysonretainer.us/AAR. attorneysonretainer.us/AAR. Don't forget also to visit justinmcneil.com. In this political season, we need politicians that think like we do. You don't have to live in the state. All you have to do is join him and support him. You can send him $5 or just get on his email list. It all helps. We appreciate that. Don't forget, like and subscribe over on YouTube. We need your help there to help us continue the growth and get our word out on a platform that for many years was unfriendly to us, that has now opened up for us, and we are making some great headway over there, and we thank you for that. So please keep it up. Please keep subscribing. Get your kids to subscribe, too, while you're at it. Lee the Gunwriter Williams, welcome back in, brother. Always a pleasure to have you here. Let's go now. We did the whole Glock thing. Absolute joke that is. But let me go to DOJ first, then I'll go to prosecutors not enforcing the law. But Trump DOJ just put out a statement that large capacity magazines are actually standard issue magazines. You know, the Trump administration is doing all of the right things here. This is, without a doubt, the most pro-gun administration in this country's history. And you're shaking your head. You agree.
Without a doubt.
No question about it.
Yeah.
And that's how it will be viewed historically when people look back, unless we get somebody else that's equal to or better than Donald Trump. And at this stage of the game, that's going to be hard to do. This administration has been making all of the right moves, and we do appreciate that. But it was Harmeet Dillon that noted, and I quote, "Large capacity magazines are standard issue magazines." And she said that when she was talking to my good friend Carl Higbee over on Frontline on Newsmax just a couple of days ago. And she was in the process of explaining why the DOJ filed a lawsuit against Denver's assault weapons ban and Colorado's ban on magazines holding more than 15 rounds. Now, we're going to win these cases. And like we were talking about with the Glocks, okay, it's all going to fall under that category. And, you know, this is where the Democrats made a really stupid move, Lee. What they did was they lumped our handguns in their assault weapons descriptions, which is going to really come back to bite them when the Supreme Court and Thomas writes that ruling, because I feel pretty confident Thomas is going to be the one to write that ruling. I wouldn't be shocked. Now, Mark Smith from the Four Boxes Diner says, don't be surprised to see it be Kavanaugh, which I don't care who writes it, to be honest. I would love to see Thomas make that statement, because we know he's been itching to do this. He's been itching to take one of these cases for years, and we know we will win this case. It's going to come back to bite him, though, isn't it? That'll be so. It's the schadenfreude there, bro.
Oh, it's going to be a killer response. I mean, look at in common use. The Dems don't understand what that means. That means millions of them out there. Look at how many ARs are out there. Look at how many Glocks are out there, and they just want to take them away. No, that's never going to happen. And the magazines, I got 30-round magazines in the early 80s when I was in infantry school. They were literally issued to me to go with the weapon, the M16A1. I mean, yeah, I don't care where you live, what you're doing. There's no way you should have to put up with this. And, you know, if I lived in some of these hellholes that the Dems control, I would want 40-round magazines.
I probably more than that. I'll take the 100-round drums.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, you have a right to own anything you want. Now, we're getting ready to put the finishing touches on the NFA, SAF, NRA, GOA, FPC are in court across this country right now attacking the NFA. We're going to see that fall under the Trump years. That's no doubt that's going to happen at some point in time. That the suits are there. We'll get there. Again, it's a time consumption thing, and I know we all want it yesterday, right? But it's not the way Washington works. We've never seen this level of activity. This is a truly historic time for gun rights in America. We have the opportunity nail the coffin of gun control shut, Lee, in ways we've never had before in the history of this country, particularly the last 30 to 40 years, right?
Look at what happened here in Florida with our concealed carry, our open carry. I mean, all it takes is one or two good people who know what's going on, who want you to exercise your Second Amendment right. And at the national level, we've got Trump, and he wants us to be able to exercise our Second Amendment right. I can drive up to my former home in Minnesota, where I grew up. I have to stop carrying at the Minnesota border. Well, I don't need a card or anything.
You don't.
Yeah, I know.
There's always that.
I don't. Legally, I should, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, we should be able to go wherever we want, do whatever we want to do with our right to carry a firearm.
Yeah, now, guys, if you're driving something like that and you're violating that state law by doing so, particularly if you're driving, you don't want to put yourself in that position. I'm going to highly recommend that you follow the law. Okay? But the rest is up to you. I'll only say concealed means concealed. These laws are unconstitutional. Mm-hmm. They will fall. I don't want you to become a test case, ladies and gentlemen. But honest to God, thank God for the people that do, that put themselves out there and stand up for our rights and our freedoms. And they do it at great expense and at great risk and at great cost. They risk their own freedom in order to see to it. We talk about it every single day, 18 years on the radio now, and they're never going to stop us. Never. It's not ever going to happen. And believe me, they want to. They try. But it won't happen. And we are winning this fight. And I can't stress enough how important it is that you get in this fight right now. I'm sick and tired of well, Trump's in office, my guns are okay, I don't have to do anything. All right? Yeah. That's the
way to act.
Yeah, that's an FCC-friendly, unfriendly word right there. That's pure, and you can insert whatever expletive you want there. Okay? I'll give you a second to do that. That's pure there. However you defined it, you're right. But, again, the time it takes to do this is maddening. There's no question about it. But it has really been a joy to be able to report almost daily, Lee, on the positive things.
I know.
Did you ever think the script would be flipped that fast?
No. I mean, here's where we're reporting this state did something bad, this state did something bad, this state did something bad, literally almost every day. And now it's completely changed.
Because we're winning the fight. Lee, let me say this before I close out with you. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find Lee at SAF. You can also find him over at Armed American News at our jointly run site there. Please read everything that he writes. And if you haven't caught up on the Tate Adamiak thing, he's got a list of all the stories there for you. You can go right there, and you can also catch him on his Substack. Lee, real fast, what's your Substack account?
TheGunwriter.substack.com.
TheGunwriter.substack.com. It's that simple. Lee, thank you for being here, brother. I'm going to go ahead and pull you down, close out this hour of the show. Lee, we'll talk with you next week. No question about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get up and do this again tomorrow precisely because they don't want us to. Until then, enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll see each and every one of you on the radio. Please subscribe to us and like us and share over on YouTube. We appreciate it. Have a great day, folks. Thanks for being here. All right, guys, thanks for being here. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to us, please. Get your kids to do it. You know how to do it. Mash the little button. See you on the radio tomorrow, guys.